Okay, so from the second halving in 2016 to the top, from the second halving in 2016 to the top of the 2017 price peak, $19,400, the Bitcoin price jumped around 29x. Okay, prior to the last halving, Bitcoin is up 1,570% today, and the next halving occurs in less than 40 days. So what do you think will happen? Okay, so we kind of covered this in some earlier live streams, I think about 2 months ago. But let me just see what other people here have to say. Okay, Pedro says there's a big probability of a slow rise in BTC price in the coming years. However, right now, before and after the halving, I suspect the price of Bitcoin will remain steady or even decrease for a couple of months before taking off, basically. So, I mean, I chimed in here saying it definitely is unpredictable, but long term we're bullish. I think short term is hard to predict. We don't have a large enough sample size, so everybody who's saying something is purely speculating. But long term, we can all expect the price to increase just based on supply and demand economics. M. Hado says, I have a feeling this one will be very different from the others due to the current uncertainty and stability. It rise to about 11.6K right before the halving, then a slow decline in June, followed by a new all-time high at the end of this year. Okay, then Alex says COVID-19 put a lower expectation because of lower liquidity. I think it will take less inflow or fiat for the market to keep the same price after the halving, and the effects will be long-lasting. Man, so many people chiming in here. I love it. Crypto Possible says, I think Bitcoin's price rally will start after a few months. Harv says, it's hard to predict in my opinion. Too many conflicting opinions. Given that it's only about 30 days away now, I prefer to just wait and see. Then Chetty, man, Chetty wants that free Token Metrics award. Okay, so he goes on to say, I can't see a bullish scenario in the short term, given all the following. Barely any volume 30 days out from halving. We didn't have futures at the last halving. Yes, that's true. People can now short Bitcoin as well, which is very, very true. That's a good point. There's the whole theory about smaller miners capitulating. See Rect Capital YouTube video about that. Bitfinex Tether lawsuit. Recent class action lawsuit against exchanges. Telegram SEC implications. I mean, wow. I mean, great insights from everybody. Thank you so much for that. Now, to kind of chime in with my take, I think short term, nobody knows. Short term, if anything, I would be more pessimistic. But obviously, we shared our models for April for Bitcoin from a TA perspective, technical analysis, very, very bullish for this month. They think the price, Bitcoin is now about $7,000. The price can go up to 8,000 or 8,500 this month. So based off of that, very, very bullish. Now, if we look up Bitcoin halving graph, let me see if I can find that graph. Yes, this is what I'm talking about here. So obviously this is just pure speculation, not investment advice. But looking at this chart here, so Bitcoin, this is about 2011. Bitcoin in 243 days went up 17,794%. So basically 177x or so. Then bear market for 163 days, accumulation for 47 days, then expansion, reaccumulation, then the next bull market. So after this halving here, this was the first Bitcoin halving, November 28th, 2012. Bitcoin was $12.22. So back here it was 17 cents. Then over here it was, bull market went from 17 cents to $31.50. Then all that happened. Then after the first halving, Bitcoin went from $12.22 all the way to $1,178. This was basically between 2013 and 2014. Then bear market, accumulation, expansion, reaccumulation, second halving, July 9th, 2016. Bitcoin was $657.61. Total coin market cap, crypto market cap was $12 billion. So the bull market here lasted 525 days. That's basically 2x, twice as long bull market. And the price went all the way to $19,800. Now the bear market also lasted about twice as long. Very interesting. 365 days versus 163 days over here. Accumulation, 139 days. Accumulation here was 47 days, so almost 5 times as long. So, hold on, sorry, no. 3 times as long. 139 days. So about 3 times as long. Then expansion, reaccumulation. So this is the phase we're in. Now people are predicting the Bitcoin or crypto bull market to be after the third Bitcoin halving. Now, obviously, this is not a large enough sample size, but in this bull market, the growth was 177x. Then in this bull market, it was 92x. So basically, let me just say here, 177 divided by 2, it basically cut in half. So the gains were about half the prior gains, the ROI. Then if we take this, hold on, 177 divided by 92. Yeah, 1.92. So about, if we round up, about 2. Then if we go to this, the gains were 2,938%, or about 29x. We just cut off the last 2 digits. So if we take 92 divided by 29, this was basically decreased by a factor of 3 versus this. So, okay, so it seems like it's increasing by a factor of 1. So over here, it was basically divided by 2, and this, we divide this by 3. So if I had to speculate, this is just pure speculation, not financial advice, but if it's going 2, 3, 4, maybe we'll take the ROI of this and decrease by a factor of 4, divide by 4. So if we take basically 29x divided by 4, we're looking at about 7x return from current prices. Let me just take a look here and see what we get here. So current price of Bitcoin is about 7,000. So we're looking at about $50,000 Bitcoin is what this could be. Now this is just pure speculation, right? So because this is definitely not a large enough sample size, but if that ends up being true, where it's decreasing by a factor of 2, the first prior to the first halving, then to 3, then to 4, if that keeps on going, then I think a safe, or rather conservative, expectation for Bitcoin price could be about $50,000 Bitcoin, which would definitely be a new all-time high, and it would definitely be.
We just landed on the moon in the Lambo.
Okay, but don't go out there and buy based off of this. Do your own research, do your own due diligence. But I mean, I think the signs or the logic for $50,000 BTC sounds good. Now, on the other hand, we could say that's very, very low. I mean, because we all want Bitcoin to go to $1 million. Okay, I mean, we all want to.
My money. Shut up and take my money.
Right? That's what we all want.
Shut up and take my money.
So this model is basically saying that to kind of play devil's advocate, it's basically saying Bitcoin is going to cap out at $50,000 and then come back crashing. So if anything, a good strategy would be, once you see Bitcoin approach 50K, take your profits, man. Take your money, buy that house, reinvest into real estate, diversify into other assets. But I mean, because it's also a psychological number. When people see Bitcoin $50,000, I mean, the press is going to come in. It's going to be on Bloomberg, on CNBC. People who have no business investing or talking about crypto will be asking you for financial advice to buy Bitcoin. So when things like that start happening, take your profits. So I think it's definitely very, very interesting to see. Definitely not financial advice, but I mean, let's see what happens. Now, one thing I do want to go back here and revisit though. So if we look at the ending price, so here the ending price was $31, and here we went all the way up to basically 1100. So let me just try this different calculation here, since we do love to speculate here. So if I get 1178 divided by 3150, you basically increased by 37x. If we take the ending prices here to get the ending price here, so over here after the first halving, it increased by 37x. Now if we take this by that, okay, so we take 19,800 divided by 1178, we get 16.8. Okay, so 16.8 over here, and over here, I already forgot what the my calculator didn't save. Okay, hold on. So basically, second halving was by a factor of 16. So that's kind of half, right? So from 37 initially here, 37x, to 16x, right? So 37 divided by 16, so about 2.3. Okay. And if we take that 2.3 and multiply by 19,800, that gives us 45,500, I believe. So looking at it from both ways, it's basically saying Bitcoin's going to reach about $45,000 to $50,000. So, I mean, I kind of like that logic. It's definitely pure speculation. I mean, so take it with a huge pile of salt. Okay, don't take it with a grain of salt, but take it with a huge pile of salt. Don't go out there and invest based purely on that. But I think that's a good idea. I mean, $45,000 to $50,000 range for Bitcoin post halving. Obviously, not a large enough sample size, but I like this logic. What do you guys think? Do you think this makes sense? Do you think Bitcoin's going to $45,000 or $50,000 after the halving over here? Or do you think it's going to the moon and beyond and going to $1 million? Now, long term, I think that's possible, but looking at this halving, I mean, if somebody said Bitcoin's going to be at $50,000, hold on. Now, one thing we forgot to add is the time frame, because this halving here took 243 days. This bull market here took 243 days. This one took 368. So let me just divide that by 368 by 243. So 1.5 times as long. Then if we get that times 368, we get 552, which is close to 525. Very interesting. So it seems to be multiplying by 1.5. It's probably a good range. So if we take the 525 times 1.5, so we're looking at about 784. Let's round up. About 800 days for the bull market and for Bitcoin to go to $50,000. I mean, to me, that sounds pretty slow, because that's about 2 years. So really, so to kind of bring everything home, because I know I have been kind of all over the place with this chart here. So basically it's saying 2 years after the halving, the price of Bitcoin will have gone up to about $50,000. So looking at the current price of BTC at $7,000, I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, it's definitely not $1 million Bitcoin like we all think. But if Bitcoin's at $50,000, in 2022 after the halving, that's not bad. I mean, looking at it long term, we're all going to make money. We're all going to make money. So obviously this is just pure speculation, but I mean, so far in this very small sample size, it does seem to kind of make some logical sense. But obviously black swans do happen, and as somebody mentioned earlier, we've never really had halvings where we had the ability to short Bitcoin. So this is something that definitely does throw a wrench into everything, right? And into all the models and speculation out there. But I think all of us here will probably say that we're very bullish on crypto and Bitcoin. Let me know what you guys think. What's going to happen to Bitcoin after the halving, short term and long term? Thank you.